I call this meeting to order the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders Thursday, May 21st, 2020, agenda setting meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrison,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Here.
Freeholder Hudak,
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Here.
Freeholder Staton,
Here.
Freeholder Williams,
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada, and Chairman Mirabella.
Here.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Can you please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag?
Certainly. Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and lover of charity, to get the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, can you please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act?
Chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated, Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the administration building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the office of the county clerk.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to another remote meeting of the Freeholder Board. We have convened tonight's meeting remotely in order to observe the strictest precautions for preventing the spread of the COVID-19 virus. As is our custom, we begin with a heartfelt thanks to the countless thousands of Union County residents who are working together in a common cause, looking out for one another and taking care of each other during this time of crisis. I want to emphasize that includes everyone in the Union County family. Those of you who are staying home, wearing masks, observing the social distance guidelines, those of you who have continued to work, providing groceries, medicines, and other essential goods and services, our emergency responders and frontline health workers, and those of you who have donated food, medical supplies, financial assistance, and more. In so many different ways, you have all contributed to the progress that we've seen in recent weeks. And so I encourage you to keep up the good work as we gradually and carefully restart selected county services. First, I'm happy to announce the county parks will continue to be open for passive recreation, include walking, jogging, and hiking. In accordance with state guidelines, park visitors must continue to observe the 6-foot social distancing standard, and masks are strongly encouraged. I am also proud to say that we will observe our time-honored Memorial Day tradition of placing flags on the grave sites of our military veterans. This will be done in accord with guidelines to prevent the spread of the virus. Memorial Day holds a special place in all our hearts. It is a very good feeling to know that we will be able to honor the memory of those who have served, just as we have done in past years. At this time, I also want to announce the return of our free recycling programs. The hazardous waste recycling events will resume on Saturday, June 6th. Scrap metal will resume on June 20th, and shredding events for personal papers will begin on June 27th. Masks will be required, and there will be modifications to prevent the spread of COVID-19. You can check the county website for all the details. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I would like to recognize the hundreds of workers, volunteers, and partners and businesses who have kept the Union County Drive-Through Testing Center up and running. To date, we have conducted more than 18,000 tests for Union County residents with symptoms of COVID-19 free of charge. This figure includes hundreds of emergency workers and frontline medical workers from throughout New Jersey. And this week, we've expanded the program. As of this past Monday, the test center is free to all Union County residents, even if you have no symptoms. We also set up a new online portal to make an appointment, which you can find on the county website. If you think you've been exposed to the virus or you have any other reason to be concerned, please do not hesitate to make use of this important resource. In addition, we've been marshaling food donations to hundreds of families in need, and we are distributing 100,000 surgical masks to the 21 municipalities based on the priorities that they have identified. We will continue working together with our partners to ensure that we all pull through this crisis together and as a community. So let's all redouble our commitment to stay the course, to keep encouraging each other in the weeks ahead. As we take careful steps to restart, let's make sure that we all keep social distance, keep wearing masks, and keep working to protect each other. And with that, just a reminder, tonight we will begin with an agenda meeting followed by our regular meeting. We will have a public hearing on the 2020 Union County budget during the regular meeting. All right, we'll approve the communications later during the regular meeting following this agenda meeting. And we're going to start with our directors and administrators, and we'll start with Administrator Dorado, the Board of Elections.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. I hope everybody is doing well. The Office of the Board of Elections has 2 resolutions for your consideration this evening. Be very happy to answer any questions.
Okay, freeholders, let me put my participants up. We have hands up. Freeholder Kowalski. You're on mute, freeholder.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Administrator Dorado, can you talk to us a little bit about what services the company will perform during the general election on the voting machines?
So the first resolution is an amendment to the 2019 contract with ES&S. Was for, we had 5 ES&S employees on site on election day. They assisted with fielding poll worker phone calls. They assisted with the vote tabulation of the vote by mail ballots and provisional ballots after election day. They were on call to, go out and about and check on sites and check with the freeholders, with the poll workers during the course of election day, since the general election was the completion of our rollout of our new voting machines. We had anticipated to have the same level of on-site support this year as we did last year. We are definitely going to need the support for tabulating the vote by mail ballots. I have requested a rental of a 3rd vote by mail tabulation machine for this election. We own 2. So I've requested a 3rd in preparation of the volume that we're going to have in vote by mail ballots. And just in terms of having somebody from ES&S who knows the software and the equipment inside and out as we are still learning is a tremendous value to us.
Thank you.
Okay, freeholder. I
Thank
see
you.
Freeholder Hudak.
All right, sorry. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm well, Freeholder. Hi.
Good, thanks. Just addressing the ES&S contract and some of the changes with the new the new support. Do we anticipate any additional costs going forward this year with this particular contract? Because I know for the primary, we're only going to be using the one machine per polling location. But it's going to have a very specific purpose for people with the ADA needs, which I guess it would be counterintuitive for it to cost more, but since, the locations are changing, and I'm sure, when we did this contract initially, it was with a certain sort of election in mind. So is there, do we anticipate that the not to exceed for 2020 is going to stay within bounds, or do we think there's a chance that you may have to come back to the board as a relation to these changes? And I guess the second part of my question is, and it may not be properly directed to you, but it may be something to the county manager, county council for future consideration. If it does in fact cost us additional funds because it's COVID related, is that something that we could possibly have submitted for reimbursement under the CARES Act? So if you don't know the second part, that's fine. And if Ed and Bob don't have an answer for the second part, if that's something you can get back to me.
I am not expecting an increase in the contract for 2020 as I see it right now. I don't think we'll need as many ES&S boots on the ground, so to speak, for the primary election. Although we will have a challenge in terms of training and having people available to help the poll workers. So as you said, we're going to have one voting machine per polling place. So for example, if we have 5 districts in one polling place, the poll worker now has to be able to activate the machine for that voter's specific ward and district. So, training is going to be a challenge. We can't gather, in more than 10 people. It's still going to be new, and we are still waiting for the state to promulgate some of the regulations as a result of the executive order relative to the primary election. But so I don't see it increasing for the on-site support in that respect. But we will have some things that will be different that our poll workers have not seen before. And I'm sorry, to answer your other question, for example, the third vote tabulation machine that we ordered is reimbursable under the CARE Act pursuant to the state. But what the state was also quick to say today was they have $10 million and not everything's going to end up being covered. So, and that's statewide for elections. So there are other expenses that we're going to incur as a result of COVID-19 and the primary election and the adjustments the same.
And probably, I mean, it's hard to predict how these things roll out, but I have to imagine, based on all the information we're hearing from the state, from the CDC, from the NIH, that social distancing is not going away in the fall per se. It may be modified to what we're seeing, but there's probably a strong indication whatever we do come July is going to be the framework for what we do in November. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops.
That is very much a possibility, yes.
Yeah, no, I envy neither you nor Clerk Rajapi, because this is the moving target of moving targets. So good job so far, and thank you for the information. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Nicole, you made mention before about a third tabulation machine. I just want to thank you that we know that this year more than ever, vote by mails is going to be something that's going to be extremely stringent when it comes upon your office processing them. And definitely you have the foresight of making sure you have that third machine to be able to go through all those different votes, and definitely making sure that residents are trying to fill out those vote by mails instead of trying to even think about going to polling locations, because you can definitely talk about this too, but polling locations are more geared towards individuals who are have ADA access. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So we're definitely trying to gear people towards doing vote by mails.
So a voter may go to the polling location for a few reasons. One will be ADA access to the voting machine, particularly if they are visually impaired and need an assistive hearing device. But also, for example, if they didn't realize they got their vote by mail ballot and threw it away, or they don't believe they received their ballot for whatever reason, they can come and vote provisionally. So the only exception to a provisional ballot on election day in this primary will be the disabled voter, who will have to certify that they cannot vote on a paper ballot. And that form, that certification is promulgated by the state. If we have a voter who's registered as a Democrat and they are quite sure that they're a Republican and there's an error somewhere, they can come and vote a Republican provisional ballot. And also, if we have that unaffiliated voter who, although they got their mailing to request a vote by mail ballot and to give themselves an opportunity to declare, did not do so and did not return it, then they can come and declare at the polls, but they will also be required to vote a provisional ballot.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. All
Thank
right,
you.
anybody else for Nicole Dorado? All right, Nicole, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Good work. We'll move to the Department of Economic Development, and we'll go to Deputy County Manager Amy Wagner.
Good evening, freeholders. The Department of Economic Development has 8 resolutions for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I don't see any hands.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to move now to the Department of Engineering, Public Works, and Facilities Management, and Director Graziano.
Good evening, Chairman, freeholders. The department has 2 resolutions on tonight for your consideration. Try and answer any questions you have.
Okay, I see Freeholder Hudak has a question. Go ahead, Freeholder.
Good evening, Joe. How are you?
All right, freeholder, how are you?
So the resolution number 2, authorizing the aerial dispensing operation. Just, out of curiosity, if you don't know the answer, feel free to get back to me. It doesn't really change my opinion on the matter. It's an important service. But the fact that so many people are home right now, typically when we do these spraying operations throughout the summer, I'm just curious whether or not it's calculating that, a percentage of the population isn't necessarily at home, maybe people are out at work. Does that change the science of mosquito prevention at all? Just out of curiosity.
As far as I know, no, it does not. And again, just remember, if you want to rewind back to last year, this is we did this last year. We got approval from the board to go to the FAA, which is exactly what this is, to possibly do an aerial spray, and that was for the EEE outbreak that we had up in the Berkeley Heights area. We never had a chance to do it since I guess the wind or the weather conditions didn't work out for that. As far as I know, that as far as people being home, it doesn't change the science on how they spray it. They spray it based on a formula. It's a really small amount. It's about a tablespoonful of product per, let's say, a football field size.
Mm-hmm.
That's how little the amount is. It gets dissipated through the air. You really don't even know what's happening when it is happening. It's not dangerous to humans whatsoever. It's not dangerous to animals. It's not dangerous to anybody, really. So that's really where we're at with this now. Again, this is just the first step in putting together a package in case we do have to go back out for EEE. And it will only be for EEE or something worse than that. Sprayer, we wouldn't go out to spray for anything else, as far as I know right now.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Have a good night.
You're welcome, Freeholder.
All right, anybody else for Director Graziano? Let me look. Yes, Freeholder Mudet.
Thank you, Chair. I was just wondering, with number 2, when exactly the plan is to begin the aerial spraying?
Again, there is no current plan, Freeholder.
Okay.
This is all just preliminary, just in case we get an outbreak. Right now is when the mosquito season starts up pretty heavy. In fact, Memorial Day is when we get our trap set up throughout the county. This season right now is the prime season for mosquitoes. You know, it all starts right now. This is when everything starts. This is the big mosquito season start right about now. So they're not that heavy right now, as you know. If you're outside, they're not that bad right now. As we move on into June and July, obviously they get the humidity and everything. So there is nothing planned as of yet. This is just all the preliminary stuff we have to do, just in case we have to do an aerial spray.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Freeholder, thank you. Anybody else? Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Graziano, we're not starting spraying yet, but the routine work of checking the various places where mosquitoes might be breeding is going on now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. It's actually one of our most essential services that has never stopped. Even through COVID, it hasn't stopped whatsoever. We're obviously checking brooks. We're checking properties if we get complaints. We're setting up our light traps to get them started this week. Yeah, we have not stopped. And again, this is one of our most essential services that we offer and continue to offer throughout the year.
So, and let me just add that I'm sure you were telling residents that if they see trouble spots or places where there's standing water, places where mosquitoes might be breeding, that they can certainly call our mosquito control office and have them addressed, right?
Yes, they can. Anytime they can call, they can email us. I mean, they can call the main number at Mosquito. We will definitely address it. We'll go right to the property. We do go on private properties. This is like one of the only services we offer that we go on to private properties to check stuff that's causing issues.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Freeholder. Anybody else for Director Graziano? Let's see. All right, Director, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Freeholders.
Good. We'll move to the Department of Finance and Director Taylor.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 7 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Director Taylor? Got to scroll up and down. I kind of like this hand raising thing. It's actually helpful. All right, I don't see any questions, Director. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Have a good
Maybe
night.
for the next meeting that everybody's
Yes.
saving. All right, thank you. We'll move to the Department of Human Services, Director Anderson.
Good evening, Chair and members of the board. The Department of Human Services has 2 resolutions on, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions? I see Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes, good evening. Could you please share with us what's the plan for how the funds will be spent for number 1?
Sure. The CSBG dollars as a part of the CARES Act is our first installment, about 35% of the CSBG dollars. That's going to be focused on rental assistance, security deposit, utility assistance, also working with the food pantries, emergency shelter. People who qualify, Union County residents that will qualify for these programs are at or below the 200% of the poverty, federal poverty guidelines. That also includes our undocumented residents as well. They can qualify for these funds going to our community partners. What we're receiving now is about $430,000. This is the first. The second installment will be larger, and total the county is expecting to receive about $1.2 million in totality for the CSBG dollars.
That's excellent. Thank you so much. It's very helpful and a wonderful, good update. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Anderson, you answered my question very well regarding number 1. In regard to number 2, the funds we receive for IRDC, the funds that go through the county for the municipal alliances, things like that. Are you hearing anything from the state in terms of reductions for that funding going forward? I mean, it's, the IRDC's funding, funded through individuals who pay fines for drunk driving violations. The municipal alliance programs are funded through individuals who are paying drug fines and things of that nature. Because the municipal court system has grinded down to a halt, and a lot of those funds are not flowing. I mean, at some point, that money will eventually begin to move forward, but there's going to be a tremendous gap in the fund structure for 2020, and then I guess going forward. Are you hearing anything from the state in regarding to those that funding and what they're anticipating for next year as they formulate their budget?
So for the municipal alliance, the state has informed us that there is a freeze per se on the funding as of now. So we've asked a lot of our municipalities to hold off on expenditures until we receive more guidance on what the next steps are. For the IDRC program, it's a revenue-based program for the county. And the challenges that we're asking, what the state is asking us to do is think outside the box on how to do these type of workshops virtually. So we are working with the state on coming up with a plan on how to do that. So right now, that's why we're asking to extend the program year, because we have to now go virtual. So because those drivers still at one point will need to get access to their driver's license. And to do so, we have to provide a certain number of hours of training. So we're doing an outside of the box way of thinking to provide that. But the IDRC, because it is a revenue base, if we don't do it, we lose. So we have to come up with a way to redo that.
And we've been given the authorization to move it to a virtual platform?
We have. Utilizing the go-to platform, like the go-to webinar, go-to training, that you can isolate the participants so that their regulations are followed. So that's what we've been authorized to do moving forward.
Okay. And is that something, I mean, if it's successful, do you think it's something that's going to be temporary based on the COVID crisis, or potentially something that can go forward? Because I imagine it'd probably be easier to get some more compliance from people into those programs if you take out the physical aspect of it. It'd probably make attending a little easier.
That's so true, Freeholder. So we're testing it out, but it's a possibility that the state is probably going to go to more of a virtual platform for these programs moving forward.
Okay. Thank you, Director Anderson. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, Freeholder. Anything else for Director Anderson? I don't see any hands. All right, Director, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to the Department of Public Safety and Director Moran. Who I know is here someplace. There he is.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. Department of Public Safety has 5 resolutions for your consideration. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, I see Freeholder Granado has a question. Freeholder?
Thank you, Chairman. Director Moran, just on number 1, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a shared service agreement, correct? That definitely benefits all our local municipalities across the County of Union.
Yes, this is a contract that we sign with Rutgers to provide TV services to all of Union County. And it is a shared service, you're correct. We pay half the cost of a nurse salary for the Rutgers, and the towns contribute half of that cost.
That's great. And just on a side note, I heard somebody whisper to me that after the testing center site was over today, that you and your staff truly made graduation of a young National Guard member truly special today. So I heard that Chairman Mirabella, TCNJ, strong supporter, She graduated from TCNJ and truly was your hard efforts and your support along with everyone at our testing center that truly shows how we come together as a family to show this National Guard member who couldn't take off for virtual graduation, that you guys stepped up to the plate and made her feel at home, made her feel like a family, and put it into the ceremony for her. So I just want to thank you and everyone who was part of it. You guys truly made her day truly special. Just thank you.
Thank you. It was truly a joint effort. So many people at the testing center participated in the planning process. And really, we just found out this morning that she was going to watch her college graduation remotely. And they were able to get a cap and gown for her. They had a clap in for her, flowers. And we were able to Skype in a lot of her family members that were able to participate and watch it. So it was a special day. It was nice.
Amazing job, Director. Thank you, Chairman.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great. Freeholder Garrettson.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Moran, we had a public safety meeting this week, and on item 5, the Public Safety Committee members were able to hear a little bit about that item, but could you just share a couple highlights on the development on that item, please? Because it's very exciting.
I don't have that list in front of me, Freeholder. Is that the dispatch center?
Yes, that's the item on the agenda.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, the dispatch center, we currently provide services to 15 municipalities. It's police, fire, EMS dispatch. Some communities want us to do one or several of those or all of those things for them. We're very excited about this project because as the Freeholder Board knows, about 8 years ago, we went through an expansion. We went from 2 positions to 9 positions, thinking that that would last us, 5 to 10 years. And, we're right on schedule. We started with our first municipality, Fanwood, to come on board for police, fire, and EMS. And now we have others in the queue that are interested in coming on. Excited about this expansion because we can't bring on new agencies until we have the space to do it. And this is a integral part of that. So we're working each week with the architect and hope to have something before the board later this year.
Thank you so much, Director.
Good. Thanks, Freeholder, for bringing that up. I think that's important to highlight. So nice work for everybody. All right. I don't see any other hands. So, Director, thank you. And we'll move to the office of the County Council. County Council Barry.
Thank you, Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. There I am. Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Freeholders. The Office of the County Council has 3 items on tonight's agenda, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, excuse me, you may have.
Okay. Any questions for Bob? Okay, Bob, I don't see any, so thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Office of the County Manager, County Manager Oatman.
There we go. Thank you, Chairman. I have 1 item on tonight's agenda. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, CM, I don't see any, so thank you. As this is a double meeting, I'll ask any freeholders if they'd like to join as a co-sponsor or any of the freeholder resolutions for tonight. Any comments on freeholder resolutions? Freeholder Granados.
Sorry, Chairman. For Office County Manager Oatman, I know that's something that you worked alongside our chairman on strongly in our different department heads and directors. Can you just elaborate on number 1? Because I know it's providing a major benefit to our municipalities.
Sorry, Freeholder, what was that again?
Can you just elaborate on number 1? I know it's providing a major benefit working alongside our local municipalities.
This is the CARES Act funding. We are working with every town to work on a formula to reimburse our municipalities about what they've spent so far on COVID-related expenses. We've there's a shared services agreement so they could draw down on the grant funding that the federal government provided the county for COVID activities.
I know it's something that you as county manager, deputy county manager, our finance team, and I know Chairman Mirabella have been working alongside our local mayors and municipalities and making sure that everyone who has expenses are able to work alongside the county government in order to get some reimbursements from the CARES Act. So I appreciate all your leaderships on that.
Thank you, Freeholder.
Yeah, and let me just add to that. So the communication from the federal government hasn't always been very clear, but the communication from this county to the municipalities has been very clear. And we're doing our best to decipher what information we get about the CARES Act and the proper use of those funds, on sharing that on a regular basis with our municipalities. I feel like, they are up to date with everything that's going on. And the county manager and the deputy county manager have done a fine job deciphering that information from the federal government, taking the information from the governor's office and disseminating that very well and very clearly to our municipalities. And I couldn't be more proud when I hear about the transparency and the clear communication coming from this county. I've heard other counties don't meet regularly with their municipalities at all. And that's up to them. They could do whatever they want, but we are meeting on a regular basis, and I'm very proud of our effort in that communication space. So thank you, County Manager, for that.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right, we're going to move now to the freeholder sponsored resolutions, and if you want to contribute to that, please raise your hand. We'll call on you, and we'll make those changes. Okay, Freeholder Mudet.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to be added to number 10 and 11, please.
Okay, Jimmy.
Noted. Duly noted.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes, I'd like to be added to number 4, please.
Very good.
Duly noted.
Yes, Freeholder Staton.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to be added to number 4, number 6, and maybe number 10 should be from the entire board.
Yes, I like that, Freeholder. Good job. I see a lot of heads nodding. Thank you for that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That'll be
Okay.
Duly noted.
Yep, Freeholder Hudak.
I agree. 10 should be from the whole board. Also 11.
11 from the whole board. Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that. Great. Okay. Freeholder Mudet, do you have another comment, or you just didn't lower your hand?
Didn't lower the hand, sorry.
No problem. I just want to make sure. Freeholder Granados.
Hey, Chairman, just let everybody know, number 4 is coming from the entire board also already.
4. Okay.
He's already from the entire board, yeah.
All right, excellent. All right. I don't see anything else. That's great. Thank you for that, freeholders. We are going to have a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Granados.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Garrettson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, great. All right, the public hearing was published for 5:30. So I think we can go right into the second meeting. Is that right, Jimmy?
Chairman, yes, we can go right into the meeting. Just know that when the resolutions are printed, I'll have those changes made to the, to those freeholder sponsored resolutions. I'll add the freeholders as sponsors. But you are correct. We can go right into our regular meeting.
Okay, so let's do that. Unless any freeholders need a break, I think we're moving along pretty well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. At this time, I'll call this meeting to order. The Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, May 21st, 2020, regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson.
Here.
Freeholder Granados.
Here.
Freeholder Hudak.
Present.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudet.
Here.
Freeholder Staton.
Here.
Freeholder Williams.
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada. And Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Please lead us in the prayer and the salute to the flag.
Thank you. Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, entire family of nations to agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, very good. Clerk of the Board, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting, the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. May I have a motion to approve the communications?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'll move on to the approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the agenda and regular meetings on April 2nd and the agenda and regular meetings on April 23rd?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Kowalski.
Excuse me, Chair, it's Freeholder Staton.
Freeholder Staton, thank you. You're right on top of each other. I didn't know where it's coming from. All right, we have a motion and a second. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Tonight we have some ordinances up for adoption, 2 of them. Clerk of the Board, please read the first title ordinance only.
Certainly, Chairman. Ordinance number 813-2020, an ordinance to amend the laws of Union County Administrative Code and Policies and General Legislation by amending the Union County Administrative Code, Chapter 1, amending Part 1, Chapter 1, Union County Government Structure, Article 3, Board of Chosen Freeholders, Section 1-13, Powers of the Board, and the Article 23, Office of the County Council, Section 1-139, Functions and Responsibilities of the County Council.
Okay, thank you. The meeting, may I have a motion to open the public for the purpose of commenting on ordinance 813-2020 only. May I have a motion for that?
Moved.
Second. So moved.
Okay, moved by Freeholder Granado, second by Freeholder Hudak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the meeting is now open to the public. For those wishing to speak, please note there's a 5-minute time limit. We'll display on our live stream indicating green. At the end of the 4-minute mark, there will be yellow, and then red at the end of the time allocated. Okay, so anyone wishing to speak can please do that right now on ordinance 813-2020.
Oh, so Chairman, we have a number ending in 7354. I'm going to unmute them now.
Okay.
You're unmuted. Do you have any comments?
Can you please state your name and town of residence, please?
Okay, so I'm going to mute them and we're moving on to Bruce Patterson. You're now unmuted.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, last meeting I couldn't get through, but all right. Good evening. I actually sent all the questions in, so I guess I'll just stick to the script. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. This is Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. This ordinance is amending various laws of Union County. I would like to know the overview of what is changing, but in particular, the two items. Chapter 1, Union County Government Structure, Article 3, Board of Chosen Freeholders, and the other one is Article 23, Office of the County Council, paragraph or section 1-139, Functions and Responsibilities of the County Council. Thank you.
All right, the county manager, either you or county council can provide an answer to that would be great.
Sure, Chairman. I just had a quick question for County Council first, though. Mr. Patterson commented on the second ordinance. I don't know if he's saving that question until we read it or how that should work first.
That would be for the second hearing.
So we'll just answer the first question now, and then we'll answer the second question when we get to that ordinance.
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you, Chairman. First, I just want to welcome Mr. Patterson to the meeting. It's been a while since we heard your voice, so welcome. This is a simple change in the ordinance. It goes back to an earlier time where county council served at will like any other employee instead of having a 3-year term. That is a simple change, and that's all it does.
Okay. Robert or Jimmy, is there anybody else in the queue to speak on this ordinance?
Yes, the next individual is a Daniel Hahn. Robert, if you can unmute Daniel Hahn.
Daniel Hahn, you're now unmuted.
Okay, Mr. Hahn, if you have a comment, you can make it at this point with your name and town of residence. Otherwise, we'll move on.
Sorry, no comment. My bad.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hahn. Appreciate that. Jimmy, Robert, anybody else in the queue?
Mr. Dennis Toft is next in the queue.
I've got no comments on this.
Okay. All right, very good. Anyone else in the queue for this ordinance 813-2020?
We have one last individual by the name of Nancy Pirawar.
Okay, Robert, if you haven't already, please unmute Nancy.
Nancy is unmuted.
All right, doesn't look like we have a comment there either. Anyone else in the queue for this?
That is it, Chairman.
Okay. All right, so with that, I'll close this portion of the meeting and ask for a motion to approve ordinance 813-2020.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Fielder Garrettson, seconded by Fielder Hudak. Yes? Okay. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders voting in the affirmative.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'll move on to the second ordinance. Can you please read that by title?
Certainly, Chairman. Ordinance number 814-2020. Ordinance fixing the salary for county council.
Okay, the meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on ordinance number 814-2020. I guess we have Mr. Patterson's carryover question. County Manager, do you wish to address that at this point?
Sorry, Chairman, just had to get the audio and video back working. This is just a salary adjustment and it's a decrease. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else in the queue? Jimmy or Robert?
We have an individual with on the phone with the last four number as 7354. You are unmuted.
Okay, I don't have any comment from that person. We'll go on to the next person.
Yes, Chairman, the next individual was Bruce Patterson. I don't know if you want to open up the floor or if we have addressed, I think we already addressed his question.
You can open it up and see if Mr. Patterson has any other comment on this.
Certainly. Mr. Patterson, you're unmuted.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, actually, I do have further comments. I didn't hear. Oh, this is Bruce Patterson. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. Bruce Patterson, Garwood. I didn't actually hear the response of County Manager Ed Oatman, but let me go through my script again. Oh, and you know what? I think the 7354, that might be Paul Payton of the Westfield Leader. That sounds familiar from the last meeting that you were calling out numbers.
Okay,
but
maybe he's just listening in.
Yeah, he may be. Okay. However, not knowing what up front was amended for the county council function, which I guess now I do, we are addressing this ordinance on fixing the salary of the county council. Our question and comments. What's the salary amount already in place, and how much more money is being added on top of that to the salary? It sounded like County Manager Oatman actually said it's a decrease, but I'm not sure. Also, my comments, I will hold my tongue as to whether the position is really considered overpaid for the responsibilities, or, since I'm not really face-to-face at the podium. My acerbic tongue, I'd like to at least face my accusers. But my concern is, since we are in a pandemic, you have zeroed out the tax increase, which I thank you very much for, and therefore, for added care for the residents, I see no reason why there should be any increase at all in this non-contractual salary or any of them. In the past 4 years, you have been given connected people 4, 5, 6, 7% raises, which also the percentage pension increase then goes hand in hand. It's finally time to stop giving away our tax money and start giving it back to the taxpayers, since it's our money, not yours. In the Garwood Municipal, for example, our council actually asked all non-contractual workers to forego salary increases, and they actually did that for the good of the residents. We would like to see that done here on the upper level of government also. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patterson. Let's move on to the next caller.
Certainly. The next caller should be a Mr. Daniel Hahn.
Sorry, no comment again.
Okay, let's go to the next caller.
The next person in the queue is a Dennis Toft, T-O-F-T.
No comment.
The next person in the queue is a Nancy Pirawar.
You're unmuted, Nancy.
Okay. All right, is that it?
That is all that's in the queue, correct?
All right, Ed, do you happen to have the salary in front of you, what it was and what we're amending it to? I think that was the question.
There you go, Chairman. Actually, I do. The current salary is 179,996, and Mr. Patterson did hear me right. That is a reduction coming. The decrease, excuse me, is going to 175,000.
Okay. All right. With that, I'll close the public hearing on ordinance 814, 2020, and look for a motion to approve that ordinance 814, 2020.
To move ordinance 1814, 2020.
Thank you, Freeholder Granados. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
seconded by Freeholder Williams. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
yeah,
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on that ordinance.
Okay, very good. Thank you. The meeting is now open to the public for commenting on resolution numbers 2020-364, and that only. Anyone wishing to speak? It's actually, Jimmy, why don't you read the title on this 364?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Resolution 2020-364 is a resolution determining that the 2020 Union County budget shall be read by title and declaring that the public hearing conditions set forth pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-A 1B have been satisfied. And Resolution 2020-365 is a resolution to exceed the county tax levy limit and to establish a cap bank as per New Jersey State Statute 48:4-45.14.
Okay. Thank you. The meeting is now open to the public for commenting on resolutions 2020-364 and 2020-365.
In the queue,
Yep.
in the queue, again, I'll start with the phone number ending in 7354.
Okay. Any comment? Okay, we'll move on.
The next person in the queue would be Mr. Bruce Patterson.
Okay, Mr. Patterson.
Hey, good evening again, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. The first one, 2020-364, about just reading the title, I have no comment on that. However, on 2020-365, I actually do have some comments on the COLA cap bank resolution. One question is, how much is in the cap bank presently that could have been used? And I appreciate that you aren't using any cap. But for my comment, for the past approximately 5 years, the county has not used any cap bank monies, and every year the county finds itself of no need for this in the past and even moving forward. So for this cap bank resolution, I put forth a request to vote this resolution down, please. When you have over $130 million in running fund balance at the end of last year, sitting on now $80 million in surplus, which increases annually, along with the $100 million in COVID stimulus monies, there actually is no need to retain this cap bank, at least for this year. I know monies will be carried forward. Any reason that anyone puts forth would prove to be misguided. Please vote no on this cap bank. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Patterson, for your comments. Who was next in the queue?
Next in the queue is a Mr. Daniel Hahn.
Okay, Mr. Hahn, do you have any questions? Okay, we'll move on.
The next person in the queue is a Mr. Dennis Toft.
Okay, Mr. Toft, any questions on these two resolutions?
No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, who's next?
The next individual is a Nancy Pirawar.
Okay, Ms. Piwar.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else, Mr. Clerk?
Chairman, that is all.
All right, I'll close that portion of the meeting. Did we receive any email questions? I guess we went through them for anything specific on this, right?
Chairman, the only emails I received for any action taking place tonight was from Mr. Patterson.
Okay. All right, very good. Noting that there's no other comments, I'll formally close this portion of the meeting. May I have a motion to move resolutions numbers 2020-364 and 2020-365?
So moved.
Second.
Who moved it? Freeholder Hudak?
That's
And Freeholder
right.
Granado, second. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
yes,
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders voting in the affirmative on both resolutions 2020-364 and 2020-365.
Okay, very good. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to the official public hearing on the 2020 budget. As I've said previously, knowing the impact of COVID-19 epidemic is having on our residents and business owners, I instructed Fiscal Chairman Granados and our county manager to tighten the budget and deliver a 0% tax increase. This was not an easy task, given the pressures of all government agencies, but it was absolutely necessary. The 2020 budget maintains all essential services with no layoffs. This continues the trend of fiscally responsible budgets. We also maintain the county's bond rating, which is the highest attainable. And with that, I'd like to thank our finance director, Director Taylor, our county manager, Ed Oatman, deputy county manager, Amy Wagner, all our directors, and all the staff and county employees who made this possible. I'd also like to give a special thanks to our fiscal chairman, Sergio Granados, and invite him to say a couple of words at this time too.
Thank you, Chairman Mirabella, and through you. As the 2020 Chairman of the Fiscal Committee, I've helped lead the review of this year's budget over the past few months, and we're ready to pass it tonight. We know our residents and businesses have been hurt by the COVID-19 pandemic, and we have announced a 0% increase in Union County's 2020 budget. This is the first 0% budget in nearly 20 years. We worked hard to build a budget that would fund the response, avoid layoffs, maintain essential services, and hold the bottom line. We're also maintaining our credit rating, which is the highest attainable, as you mentioned before, Chairman. During the next several months, we will receive sharply less or nothing from the county's top revenue sources, including our parks, golf courses, and sheriff sales. Even the fees we receive from the county clerk's office will be sharply less. At the same time, we have millions in expenses due to the COVID-19 emergency response. We had to take a number of steps to get to 0. We implemented a countywide hiring freeze and eliminated all funded vacancies in the budget. We reviewed the budget line by line item for savings and asked department heads to make cuts also. We used millions in funds from our surplus account. In other areas, we realized savings from the elimination of many county programs and events due to the COVID-19 emergency. Due to the partial shutdown of our government services, we also saved money on certain operational expenses, including fuel and different items and resources along those lines. The COVID-19 emergency has created a tremendous challenge, but I am pleased to report that we're a great county team and we all came together to meet our goals. In closing, I'd like to thank my colleagues in the Freeholder Fiscal Committee, Freeholders Christopher Hudak, Freeholder Rebecca Williams, Freeholder Kimberly Palmieri Muedad, and all the freeholders on this Freeholder board who worked together as one in making sure that we came together and looking at this budget and making sure that we all knew that our residents were at the forefront in knowing that we were all facing tough economic times. And a special thank you to our county manager, Ed Oatman, deputy county manager, Amy Wagner, finance director, BB Taylor, and our staff for leading the effort. I'd like to thank all our county directors who were also helpful and extremely mindful in making sure they were reviewing their budgets day in, day out, and making sure they were finding cuts. Finally, I wish to thank all our county employees who have continued to come to work and serve the public throughout this emergency. We're in this together and we'll get this through together. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. I'll now open the meeting up to the public, the official public hearing on the 2020 Union County budget. And we'll start, Jimmy, with the first person in the queue.
Certainly, the first person in the queue, again, is the phone number ending in 7354.
Okay, anyone? Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, the next individual in the queue is Mr. Bruce Patterson.
Okay, open it up.
You're unmuted, Mr. Patterson.
Oh, okay, I'm on. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. This is Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. We do thank you again for finally taking our suggestion and easily making the tax impact zero. In fact, this is the third time I'm thanking you. You could decrease the taxes by another $17 million and still maintain a AAA rating, and still along with the $63 million in surplus, which is, again, 12% of the budget. But we thank you for making it flat. One suggestion is that you really should identify the towns that have county tax increases or decreases ahead of time, so the residents of the various towns have a chance to speak if they feel a disservice is being done by the tax increase. I will make casual comments, hopefully for you to either answer or understand something must be corrected. And I'll just run down I did a laundry list, about 10 items. Pilot revenues have dropped by $100,000 from what you realized last year. Something is wrong with this line. It can only go up. As mandated by the McEnroe hearings, revenue promised from the Union County Utility Authority has now dropped from $2 million down to $500,000. I have pointed this out for the last 4 years. This is an alleged criminal action on your part of willful negligence. You must recoup this revenue stream for the taxpayers. Aid to the Union County improvement is included now as $250,000. This is supposedly a self-sustaining authority. The alleged incompetence of Director Sullivan on the UCIA and UCUA continues with so many costly failures of his in the past. You must remove this line item. We must push for getting rid of him and replace him with someone competent who understands finance. Cornerstone's psychiatric facility has gone up $1 million to $7 million on a line item. That's a 15% increase in 1 year, and something must be done with that wasteful facility. The Capital Improvement Fund has gone up $11 million, a huge amount. There is nothing of paramount importance that warrants to the 2019 level. Open space amount for 2020 revenues is wrongly calculated. If ratables went up $450 million per county manager's budget, then that only increases the open space taxation by $68,000. You have the increase at $330,000, which is wrong. Cut it back, please. The capital spending plan is bloated. With $3 million for furniture, $4 million for vehicles, this plan needs major overhaul for savings. You're going to be floating a bond for about $60 million. As noted before many times, no more matching grants moving forward, imposing double taxation on the already stressed residents of the county. A quick review of this budget saves $20 million easily. My suggestion is, you must vote no on this extravagant budget and go back to the drawing board. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patterson. Who's next up in the queue?
Next in the queue is Mr. Daniel Hahn.
Okay, Mr. Hahn, do you have any comment?
You all said that there will be a county hiring freeze. Do you have any idea how long that will be for?
County manager, you want to address that? County manager.
Sorry, Chair, when I was speaking, I forgot to unmute myself.
Yeah.
There's been no determination, but it's for the foreseeable future and as long as it's needed.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Hahn, any other questions?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I see it lasting through at least the rest of the calendar year.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, let's move on to the next speaker.
Chairman, the next person in the queue is Mr. Dennis Toff.
Okay, Mr. Toff, any comment on the budget?
I just want to say thank you to the freeholders and to all the county employees for all their hard work in accomplishing this very difficult task.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. Clerk, who's next?
The next individual in the queue is Nancy Piroir.
Hold on. No
Nancy.
questions. No questions.
All right, thank you. Good to hear your voice anyway.
Thank you.
All right, I think that ends our public comment on the budget. So at this time, I'll close that portion of our meeting. And I have a motion to move resolution 2020-366. I'll ask
So moved.
Freeholder Granados to do that.
Okay,
So moved.
Freeholder Granados, may I have a second, please?
second,
Second by Freeholder Garrettson. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
yes,
Mary Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 affirmative votes for the budget resolution.
All right, thank you very much. Tonight, we're announcing the 2020 Infrastructure Grant Awards. These funds were once again released by our Fiscal Committee, and I asked Freeholder Granados, who is the chair of the Fiscal Committee, and Freeholder Chris Hudak to make some short remarks. They will be followed by a slideshow of the awards.
Thank you, Chairman Mirabella. This is the 6th annual year we rented this infrastructure grant program, and we are pleased to announce that $1.5 million in awards on towns. This program was conceived by Freeholder Chris Hudak in 2015, and I just want to thank him for his leadership in bringing this infrastructure grant program that's definitely benefiting so many municipalities across the county of Union. And with that said, I'd like to introduce Freeholder Hudak to say a couple words.
Thank you, thank you, Freeholder, and I want to thank you as chairman of the Fiscal Committee. When we first were having conversations about the 0% increase, we had a conversation about this grant and the importance to the municipalities, and it was a lot of work between yourself, County Manager, Director Taylor, to get this program over the line again amidst the COVID crisis. The infrastructure grant program is aimed at spurring economic development, growth, and infrastructure projects throughout our county. It was developed through our Fiscal Committee a few years back, and it's administered by the Department of Economic Development. I want to again thank Chairman Granados, Freeholder Muedad, and Freeholder Williams for their work on this project, as well as Deputy County Manager Amy Wagner and Kathleen Odessa for their work on the program. Projects funded this year include much needed roadway and traffic improvements, facility upgrades, sewer improvements, access improvements for the disabled. We will now, without further comment, present slides from our 21 towns, which will contain the 2019 improvements that were made using these funds and the 2020 award announcement. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Well, very nice. I enjoyed that very much. I didn't love the music, but besides that, I think the scrolling of the town awards and the commitment that this board has made over many years, starting with Freeholder Hudak's idea several years ago to give back money to our municipalities was a good one then and it's a good one now. And it makes sense. And it's nice to see those dollars going back into the communities. So thank you to Freeholders Hudak and Granados, members of the Fiscal Committee and the Deputy County Manager for doing a terrific job administering this grant program. I'm sure the municipalities will enjoy getting that notice of their award. May I at this time have a motion to suspend the rules to allow for the joining of both the public comment on resolutions being offered for adoption and public comment on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the county into one public comment session. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Granado. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Hudak. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative for the suspension of the rules.
Okay, thank you. Meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on resolution being offered for adoption and/or any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the county. We will open up the Zoom as we have done in previous portions of this meeting. Please adhere to the 5-minute time limit and give your name and town of residence. So who is first up in the queue, Jimmy?
Chairman, I will start again with the individual with the phone number ending in 7354.
Okay, any comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next caller.
The next individual in the queue is Mr. Bruce Patterson.
Okay, open it up, please.
You're unmuted, Mr. Patterson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the Freeholder Board. Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. Running down the resolutions, number 2020-371. This resolution has given PS&S an increase of $58,000, which is a 23% increase to his contract for a revised scope of design for the dispatch center alterations. I understand Director Moran's explanation, but we were watching this center turn into a boondoggle of a black hole with tax money being dumped in wastefully. As noted before, this center is going on $4 million in cost. This possible centralized program turned boondoggle proves now that the county towns are not saving any money. A study should be done that proves otherwise. Piecemeal additions, revisions, relocations, alterations, changes over the years simply is an inefficient waste of money and shows a lack of critical thinking on the county's part. Just stop spending about this, please, and think about it. Resolution 2020-373. This resolution is for the processing of paperwork for an upcoming $60 million bond issue ordinance. Note this dollar amount is astronomically, and it's over 10% of our budget. This bond amount should be pulled and relooked at and reduced down by 10 to 20 million at least. Some items, $3 million for furniture, $4 million for vehicles. This is ridiculous spending in this pandemic atmosphere. This resolution should be voted down and the bond issue redone. Resolution 2020-379. This resolution is for the disposal of a 1/4 acre of contaminated parkland. The wording of the resolution really doesn't make sense. How do you dispose of land? Do you make it disappear? Number 381. This is for what is termed an aerial dispensing for mosquito control. Please confirm what this means. I know Director Graziano did talk about it, but is this like crop dusting where the spray will drift everywhere into people's homes too? Resolution 384. Although this 1.5 million infrastructure is written before the upfront infrastructure grant, I'm writing this. Due to this pandemic and so many people out of work, I must reiterate, as in past years, that this grant and all other grants and aids to the county towns must not be a matching type, saving the towns having to actually tax more as a double taxation. Resolution 396, this is for subaward agreements for the coronavirus relief funds. Ed Oatman did explain somewhat on it, but there really should be, instead of like internal county employees looking at it, you really should have some outside eyes, such as residents or something, just to keep everything on level footing and understand what is being spent and what is being distributed to towns, so everything is fair and balanced. So these are my comments and questions. Thank you very much.
All right, let's move on and chip away at these. Director Moran, do you have a comment on 371, please?
Thank you,
Director
Chair.
Moran still there?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yes, yes, I do. Towns sign on for a consolidated dispatch, not only because it saves tax dollars, but because it's a better system. It's better coordination of our limited public safety resources around the county, and it's a better coordination of them. As far as the cost, I don't know where Mr. Patterson is getting that figure of $4 million, but it's nothing that I have budgeted for this project. But just to put that in perspective, Bergen County in 2011 expanded their dispatch to do a countywide dispatch at $12.4 million. Monmouth County did one in 2013 for $16 million. Morris County did one in 13 for $23 million. And Burlington County did a dispatch center in 2018 at $40 million. Using this existing building here and not having bricks and mortar involved in this is saving Union County a tremendous amount of money. We were able to repurpose space and do this dispatch expansion at a very cost-effective manner. So thank you very much.
All right, Director, thanks for that thorough response. I'll move to 373, Director Taylor. I don't know if there's a comment to be made here. It's just maybe a comment, I guess, but from Mr. Patterson. But do you have anything to add to that, Director?
Sure. First, through you, Chairman, I do believe that after reviewing Mr. Patterson's comments, it's clear that he's conflating the capital budget, which is in the back of the 2020 budget book, with these resolutions that are up for consideration this evening. The resolutions as presented is actually authorizing the sale of bonds for previously authorized capital projects. The county has a practice of not authorizing debt for projects that are not active and wherein we don't need the cash flow. At this point in time, we're looking at projects dating back to 2003 for the general improvement obligations, for the county college bonds. Some of those authorizations go back to 2006. So these are just essentially projects that we've looked at throughout the year that have been active, and funds are needed in order for us to reimburse the appropriate accounts, access the market if it is ripe, and also to roll over notes. We are looking at a bond sale in June 18th and 19th for the note sale, and we will access the market only if it's appropriate and if the rates are to our advantage. So this has nothing to do with the capital budget. It in fact only deals with previously authorized capital items that have been approved by the board, and it is now time to reimburse ourselves and get adequate financing for them.
Director, thank you. I'll move to 379. Director Zuber, do you have a comment for that one?
I can take it if you wish, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, okay, Bob, please.
Yeah, sure. It's basically a term of art that's used by Green Acres in making certain classifications. That my guess would basically be it's a replacement word for sale. So it's both in the Green Acres program and in the administrative code. And that's where we took it from.
Okay. All right, Bob, thanks very much.
Quite welcome.
Ed, you may want to comment on 396, County Manager.
Thank you, Chairman. There's actually many eyes who take a look at these agreements. the sub-award agreements are subject to agreements we have with the 21 municipalities. So their governments apply, and we determine the funding. So there's agreements at that level. The federal government audits these funds. So there's already plenty of layers of eyes on this. The adding additional layers and additional layers and additional layers on top of that would turn this into a boondoggle.
Okay, good. Thank you, County Manager. 381, Director Graziano, can you make a comment on that, please?
Sure, through you, Freeholder, Chairman. Yes, well, this whole air spraying again, I just like to make a comment. This is if there's an area of concern and if we have to do it, this is all the preliminary work that has to get done. And I think the question was, is this going to be like a crop dusting? It's the flight is about 100 to 150 feet above the ground in the area of concern. There is no concern with the duet adulticide that they used. It's approved through the EPA. It does not harm people, doesn't harm animals, doesn't harm your house. You don't have to be inside during it. Again, like I said earlier, it's such a light dose, like one tablespoonful per football field size. So that's the best information I can give you now. It is not harmful. There's no harmful risk to humans, pets, or or anything else. You can be outside during it, and if there's anything else, I can give you information on it.
Director. Thank you. Very good. All right, is there anyone else next up in the queue, Jimmy?
Yes, Chairman. The next individual in the queue is Mr. Daniel Hahn.
No comment.
No comment. Thank you, Mr. Hahn. Move on.
The next individual is a Dennis Toff.
No comment.
Thank you, Mr. Toff. And I think I'm getting the order of this right. Nancy, you're last. Do you have any other comments, Nancy, on the?
No comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So at this time, I'll close that portion of the meeting. All right. All right, we need a resolution to approve. We need a motion to approve 2020 367 through 2020 409. Can I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Moved by Freeholder Kowalski. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Williams. Mr.
Oh,
Clerk, please.
that
call
was
the roll.
Garrettson.
Freeholder Garrettson, sorry. Can we call the roll, please?
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative on all resolutions.
Okay, very good. We'll move on to Freeholder reports and comments. And we'll start with Freeholder Staton. You're on mute, Freeholder.
Can you come back to me, Chairman, please?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm just going down the line here. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Once again, I just want to thank all our residents who continue to look upon your fellow neighbors and continue to stand together during this pandemic. Our Freeholder Board continues to be proactive in not only our food distribution programs that we're helping out, working alongside United Way and Amazon, and working with our nonprofit agencies, our meal distribution programs, but also making sure that, social services is open and helping out clients, our one-stop centers helping out and making sure, like today we presented our resolutions and asking our legislators to help out with providing more additional resources and helping out with unemployment claims, because we know that our residents are trying to fill them out and trying to get their refunds, trying to get accepted into unemployment and receiving their checks for that. And we're trying to make sure we speed up the process as quickly as possible because we know that everyone's going through tough economic times. So also with that said, as we know, there's a lot of graduations coming upon us. And I know Chairman Mirabella, somebody who strongly supports our graduating seniors from elementary to middle school, high school, and college and universities and law school, Freeholder Hudak. Our Freeholder board has been keeping in mind that so many graduates this year aren't having their ceremonies. And under the leadership of Chairman Mirabella, he asked me to announce, since I guess I'm the younger guy in the group, closest one to graduating in this group. So he said if I could announce it, that Deputy County Manager Wagner has been working with our Freeholder board in creating banners that'll be going up and across our parks and different locations across the county that'll be congratulating our graduates that are using graduates across the county. And we ask that all individuals who are graduating to post up a social media picture of hashtag graduate.
Can someone be put on mute, please? Okay.
Good.
Sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
No problem, Chair. That's our theme right there. That's gonna be our ringtone theme for when the banners get put up. But just in closing, when it comes to that banner, it's something our Freeholder board and Chairman Mirabella, when I brought him up with the idea of creating these banners, he definitely was fully enthusiastic and knew that this Freeholder board would be fully enthusiastic in making sure that we show pride in all our graduating individuals from all different levels of education. And we congratulate all our individuals who are graduating from universities and all different education levels. So make sure you hashtag UC graduate when you see these banners and post it up on social media, and our Freeholder board through our social media outlets will make sure we announce you and publicize the great efforts you've taken upon graduating and receiving your educational accomplishments. So with that said, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to once again thank everyone involved in the testing center that the county has been running at Kane University. I think by the end of this week, we'll have tested more than 20,000 people. It's really quite an accomplishment and a contribution towards public health throughout our county. So thanks to all the staff and volunteers and to all the groups who have donated food and support. And I might mention that Cranford's Bernie Wagon Blast is the voice that you hear in the car as you drive through to be tested and giving you instructions on what to do and what to expect. So that was a comforting little moment for me to hear Bernie's voice. I also want to congratulate the college grads. I think high school graduation will be coming up a little later, so I'll say something at our June meeting, but we do have Memorial Day weekend coming up. I want to thank all of our vets and currently serving people in the armed forces, and encourage everyone to exercise good judgment, follow social distancing, and all of the instructions for having a very safe holiday with our families. So thanks and best to all for the holiday. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. I just want to echo the comments of my colleagues regarding how everyone in our county has really stepped up, especially our first responders and all of our other public safety professionals during this extreme time. I wish everyone well. I grieve with those who have lost people. I have lost people as well. And I think that the model that we will get through this together should be reiterated every single day. And God bless us all. And that's it for my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I am just want to acknowledge all the amazing work of so many freeholders. I've been seeing so many of you as we've been out doing, whether it's food distributions or PPE distributions. I'm appreciative of the small idea I had that I shared with the county manager, and it turned into 100,000 masks that will be distributed all around the county. So I'm very, very excited that we got the support to do that, to distribute that within our towns. Also, I am the delegate for the New Jersey Association of Counties. And as the delegate, I've been in contact with many freeholders all around the state. We are having ongoing conversations. It's been very fruitful. As you all have received many of the legislative documents that we get from whether it's federal government or state government, it's been very informative, very timely, and very, very productive. So I just want to say that I'm staying on top of, my role as the delegate and making sure that I do confer with other freeholders all around the state so that we can share best practices. And Union County is definitely top of the list. We have so many great things going on. So I just want everyone to really realize how proud I am to be able to be a representative of this board as I share with colleagues around the state. Also this week, we had a pretty very productive meeting for the public safety meeting. So I want to thank all of the members who participated, but I also want to thank Director Moran. He has been such a delight to work with. We've been able to really brainstorm about some good things, but also get a lot of things accomplished. So I just want to thank him for his continued work over at the COVID site. And lastly, I was able to work with a Cranford resident this week who actually is a manager at Bonefish Grill. And he was able to work with our team, specifically Vicky. Thank you so much. We did a healthy option and he came in and he brought salad with 3 different options. It was either chicken, I think it was shrimp or salmon. And I think all the volunteers over at the testing site really were able to benefit. And I know that a lot of the freeholders are doing the same, but it was just a treat to be able to, again, just do a small token of so many great things. So if folks are out there listening and you would like to volunteer, donate PPE, please reach out to our county manager, our deputy county manager, or our chairman, because we would love for you to join us as we serve during this very unfortunate time. But thank you and God bless. And I look forward to continuing to do what I can. Thank you, Chairman.
Freeholder, thank you. Freeholder Staten, how are you doing? You
Thank
ready to go?
Chairman. Sorry for that brief delay.
No problem. Listen, Estrada used to bank his time, but I never had a freeholder pass. But that's all right. There's no problem.
No problem. I'll be brief. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our virtual meeting. I would like to start off also by congratulating all of our college grads. I have truly enjoyed seeing all the pictures on social media. We are extremely proud of the class of 2020, and congratulations to you and your families for that achievement. I would also like to add, for the past few weeks, I have had the pleasure, along with my freeholder colleagues, of distributing food with the United Way to several food banks and local agencies to help thousands of families in Union County. And even though we're in a pandemic, it is very rewarding as a freeholder to help families in their time of need. So I also like to announce families that are still in need of food are encouraged to register for the Union County Food Drive Food Distribution Day. There will be 2,000 boxes of food, so please register quickly online at uwguc.org/register. Again, that is uwguc.org/register. This will be held at King University Saturday, May 30th from 10 to 2 p.m. And there'll be more information coming on our Union County website. I'd like to wish everyone a very happy and safe Memorial Day. If you go out to the parks, please remember to practice social distancing and wear masks. If you have one, it's strongly recommended. With that being said, Everyone have a great evening.
Thank you,
Thank
Freeholder.
you, Chairman.
Nice job. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. First, I just want to, I have some comments related to the budget. Again, I want to commend the county manager, fiscal chair, our finance director, all the county department heads and staff for putting together a 0% budget. I have heard some comments. I know Mr. Patterson made it during his remarks about, dipping into surplus to further reduce the tax levy for this year. And while that feels good in the abstract, it's not a prudent policy, and it doesn't speak to the continuation of government and the continuity of services in Union County that our residents depend on. I wanted to share some numbers just that are astounding to me, that speak to the work of the Human Services Department here at Union County. And these numbers are just since the COVID crisis began in March of 2020. Since March, Meals on Wheels has delivered over 30,000 meals since the crisis began. The Division of Social Services has remained open during the COVID crisis. 5,000 new food stamp applications have been processed. That services 45,000 Union County residents access to food through that department. During this time of uncertainty, the division they've buried over 300 residents, almost 50 people per week. Currently, the Division of Social Services is managing over 16,000 Medicaid and New Jersey family care clients to make sure our residents have access to health care during this unprecedented crisis. Shelters are funded via the county and state funding, serving over 100 individuals who are homeless and their families. During the COVID crisis, our paratransit has fulfilled over 3,500 paratransit rides since the crisis began. Rides have been limited, so these aren't pleasure trips. These are limited to medical transportation, individuals who need kidney dialysis, chemotherapy, and other very serious medical procedures. The vans have also assisted in the delivery of homes to those who are homebound and elderly. The county funds the United Way's Focus on Family initiative. That's a 100% county-funded initiative that is assisting individuals with rental assistance, energy assistance, and access to food during this crisis. If we were to dip into our surplus, if we were to say, all right, we're going to artificially lower the county budget this year for the field force, what's going to happen in year 2 in 2021, we will have adjusted our budget in such a manner that all of these programs that I've just mentioned to you, which are funded either in whole or in part by the Union County tax levy, would not be sustainable. And I do not anticipate, and I don't think anyone anticipates, that this is a crisis that is going to be over by July 4th. I don't think it's going to be a crisis that, is going to be over in terms of its legs and its effect by July 4th of 2021. So, we have made a lot of good decisions here in Union County. I think prudent decisions. We had a resolution today about the cap bank, and I respectfully to Mr. Patterson, he comes up every year and says we shouldn't do that because we never utilize it. I commend Director Taylor for always having these innovative options and financial tools that are accessible to the county, whether it's utilizing the cap bank resolution, which thankfully we have not needed for over 5 years, as well as constantly looking at our debt to make sure that we're taking advantage of good market rates and the opportunity to lower debt payments to county residents. So I just wanted to kind of expound on really what the budget means. It's not just numbers on a piece of paper. It does affect people's lives, and at a time where more people are unemployed and needing of social services, we do not want to limit that aspect, and certainly because of field work. We want to make sure that our residents have what they need, and I'm proud that the Freeholder board for a number of years made tough financial decisions so that we were in a position to lower taxes while continuing to offer these services. That being said, one other service that we do provide is we do provide the flags that are distributed to veterans groups and community groups around the county. And I know this Saturday, I will be going to a number of ceremonies, obviously respecting the social distancing guidelines. We tried to join Chairman Mirabella, as we do every year at the Graceland Memorial Park, and my daughter enjoys coming to me with that to plant flags on those who've served, and we're going to do it again this year. And I'm happy that we're able to do so and honor those who have given their lives in service to this country. So with that, Chairman, thank you for your comments and have a good evening.
Thank you, Freeholder. All right, Freeholder Bouded.
Thank you, Chair. I would also like to echo all of my colleagues' sentiments in thanking everyone in the county who has been working so hard to ensure all of our residents' health and safety is the top priority. I also want to thank all of the residents that are going outside of the box and using their skills to volunteer and donate items that they've been able to make at their homes. I know we've talked about that a lot, but it's really so important and wonderful to see the community come together like that. I'd also like to congratulate our college graduates. I know it was extremely disappointing to not have that opportunity to finish out your senior year of college at your school with your friends in your classes and not have that opportunity to graduate with your classmates. But we are all so proud of every one of you, and I'm so grateful for social media and the internet, because it allows us to share each other's joys via our computers. So I congratulate all of you. And again, we have lost, I believe today marked over 1,000 residents in Union County who have lost their lives to this pandemic. And I want to just recognize all of them and know that all of their family sorrows are shared with all of us. So with that, I want to remind everyone to be safe and to continue practicing social distancing and best practices as we begin to reopen different things throughout our state. So thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Before I give some comments, I think the county manager would like to make some comments too. County Manager Oatman.
Thank you, Chairman. Sorry. There we go. Thank you, Chairman. Just real quick, a couple of the freeholders have mentioned the donating of PPE. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but early on when we opened our testing site, Mr. Patterson actually stopped by and donated masks to be used for the cause. So I just wanted to thank him and all the others who are helping out.
All right, good. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. So I'm very proud of this county, the work we've done. A lot of freeholders have commented on the testing center and its success. The fact that we're opening up to more residents that are not symptomatic is a good trend and something we should continue to do. You might see some of the rates going higher, but that's as a result of doing more testing. But that's the key. I'm convinced that's the key to, eradicating this disease is understanding who has it, quarantining them more significantly, and keeping people around them safe. So the fact that we're opening it up to more county residents is a good thing. And I continue to say that our testing center is the model in the state of New Jersey for a testing center, and I'm very, very proud of the effort on behalf of all the volunteers and individuals who set that up and continue to operate that. So we passed the budget today with no increase, and that is no small feat, and it shouldn't be underestimated, all while maintaining a AAA bond rating. Very few municipalities, very few counties achieve a AAA bond rating. It can be pushed aside like it's not that big a deal. It's a very big deal, and it speaks to strong management, strong leadership, strong financial position. And this is something that is not easily attained or maintained, and we've achieved that and maintained it over the last number of years. And it's a big deal, and it's very important. And our county residents should feel very secure in the fact that we are managing their finances and our county budget as best we can. And I'm delighted with the outcome. Freeholder, Fiscal Chairman Granados, the Fiscal Committee did a terrific job working on this budget way back for months and months. And I'm really just proud of the effort and the fact that we could deliver a zero increase. I know Vice Chairman Estrada and I were probably the last Freeholder Kowalski. Maybe you were around for one of those 0 years. I don't know. Way back in the day, there was a few years that there were zero increases, and then minimal increases throughout the rest of the years. But I'm very happy that we could deliver this year in particular, and I think it's very helpful. Two other quick things. I really want to thank Governor Murphy for his cautiousness and his strategy for this state and the roadmap that he's put together for reopening. Everybody seems to be in quite a rush to open up and get back to normal. Listen, I am too. However, it has to be done in the right way, taking into consideration the right factors, using science as a basis, and moving forward so that we don't perpetuate this virus and keep it around any longer than it needs to be. So those people that will try to push it along or rush back into all of these different activities that we used to do need to really just be patient. And we need to be communicators of that message as well as best we can from the positions that we sit in. So we're not going to rush in Union County. We're going to take the governor's advice and the protocols that he's been delivering through the executive orders and the rules coming from the state. And we just really need to be in a position to keep the momentum, keep going with what we're doing, because it's working. Several of the freeholders mentioned college graduations. My daughter graduated from college too, so I'm very proud of her. She was elected the senior class representative for her university and had to do much of her duties from New Jersey, not from her campus. But we had a virtual kind of ceremony, as a lot of schools are doing, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to go back on campus at some point and have a regular graduation ceremony with her. But my heart goes out to all those graduates, high school, college, middle school. I don't care what graduation. These kids are really working hard to achieve something, and they wanted to kind of put an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence of the hard work that they've put in. And many of them haven't really been able to do that. They're making the most of it. People around them are doing the best they can, but there's quite a class. This class of 2020 will be long remembered for what they went through. All right. With that, I think we're all set, and I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Kowalski, second by Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Garrettson. Oh, you guys are together. I don't know. I keep missing you guys. All right. May I have all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Nice job, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Be safe.
Good night.
Be safe.
Good night.
Good night.